So I was looking at the subscriber counts this morning, just trying to really wrap my head around the scale of what we're talking about today.
Right.
Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast, on YouTube, he is sitting at 465 million subscribers. That is not just a channel anymore. That's a nation state. It is larger than the population of the United States and Mexico combined.
It is staggering. I mean, he has effectively solved YouTube. If you look at the retention charts, the click-through rates, the production value, he is the ceiling.
He is the ceiling.
There's nobody above him.
But then this is the wrinkle that I think makes this story so fascinating. If you swipe over to TikTok, the king of the internet is suddenly looking up at the leaderboard. He's not number one. He's not even number two.
No, he's currently sitting in third place.
Yeah.
You have Khaby Lame still holding that top spot with over 160 million followers.
Still.
And Charli D'Amelio is right behind him at about 155 million. MrBeast is trailing at 125 million.
Which is objectively hilarious. Trailing at 125 million.
I know.
For any other human being on the planet, that is a career-defining number. You retire on that. But for Beast Industries, being third place has to feel like a crisis.
Well, knowing what we know about Jimmy Donaldson's competitive drive, crisis might be a strong word.
Okay.
But inefficiency certainly isn't. He doesn't like leaving potential growth on the table. And that gap, that, 35 to 40 million follower difference, that represents a massive audience segment he isn't dominating.
And that brings us right to the news item that triggered this whole deep dive.
Exactly.
Beast Industries isn't just, posting more videos to catch up. They're institutionalizing the chase. We found a job listing that went live recently where they are explicitly hiring a head of TikTok.
And we need to be really clear about what this role is, because I think a lot of people hear head of TikTok and they imagine some 20-something with a ring light.
Right, yeah.
This is a C-suite level strategic role. Yeah. This is a general being hired to lead a campaign.
I read through the requirements in the source material, and you're absolutely right. This is not make funny clips. The language is incredibly corporate. They want someone to set the TikTok strategy and scale MrBeast's presence to new levels of creativity and performance.
And that phrase, set the strategy, is the key. Up until now, MrBeast's TikTok presence, while, massive, has largely been downstream from his YouTube content.
It's clips.
It's clips, it's behind the scenes, it's supplementary. This job listing implies a pivot. They want TikTok to be a primary engine, not a sidecar.
But here's the tension I want to explore, because this feels like the central conflict of the whole thing.
Yeah.
The job listing demands that every single piece of content must be, quote, unmistakably Beast.
Right.
But what does unmistakably Beast even mean on a vertical 6-inch screen? On YouTube, Beast means 100 cameras, explosions, giving away private islands.
Physical.
Exactly. And the pacing feels like a heart attack. TikTok is lo-fi. It's authentic. It's sitting in your car talking to the camera. How do you reconcile those two brand identities without it feeling forced?
That is the multi-million-dollar question. And frankly, that's why they're hiring a specialist. There's a quote from a former staffer who reviewed this listing, and they noted that Beast Industries is looking for someone who eats, breathes, lives, and fully understands TikTok.
A translator.
They need a translator, someone who could take the DNA of a MrBeast video, which is high stakes, altruism, spectacle, and mutate it into a format that survives the TikTok algorithm.
The algorithm point is so crucial here. YouTube is a search and recommendation engine. It's based on long-term satisfaction and attention loops.
Yes,
TikTok is a dopamine slot machine.
Precisely. On YouTube, MrBeast wins because he engineers retention, he knows the exact moment you're about to click off, and he inserts a cut or a plot twist.
Yeah.
TikTok is different. It relies so heavily on sound trends, remix culture, and these immediate visceral vibes. You can't engineer a vibe in a writer's room the same way you engineer a YouTube script.
So this head of TikTok is basically being asked to industrialize cool.
In a way, yes. They're being asked to build a system, a team of editors, producers, ideators that can pounce on trends, as the listing said.
Pounce.
And pounce implies speed.
Speed is the enemy of high production, though. If MrBeast usually takes 3 months to film a video, by the time he posts it, the TikTok trend is already dead.
Oh, ancient history.
It's like showing up to a party 3 weeks after it ended.
Which is why this new team has to be separate. They're looking to build a kind of speedboat division.
Ah, okay.
So while the main channel, the aircraft carrier, is planning the next Squid Game recreation, this TikTok team needs to be nimble enough to see a trending audio on a Tuesday morning, shoot a Beast version by Tuesday afternoon, and have it go viral by Wednesday.
It's a shift from being a creator to being a studio.
It is the final maturity of the creator economy. You stop being a person and you become a methodology. But we have to ask, why now? It's 2026. TikTok has been the dominant cultural force for, what, 5 or 6 years now?
At least.
Why is MrBeast, the smartest guy in the room, waiting until now to make this specific executive hire?
I think I found the answer to that in the research stack, and it's all about the regulatory landscape.
The ban.
We tend to forget because it feels normal now, but for a solid 2 years, the TikTok ban was the sword of Damocles hanging over the entire industry.
Oh, it was. If you were a business manager in 2024 or 2025, you could not justify pouring millions of dollars in capital hiring teams, building studios into a platform that the U.S. government might just delete from the App Store next week. It was way too risky.
But that risk is gone now. The notes mentioned the joint venture deal that finally settled the dust.
Yes, and this is critical context for you. The ban was averted because TikTok's parent company finally agreed to a very strict joint venture structure.
So what does that mean exactly?
It essentially silos all U.S. data and operations under a U.S. domiciled entity with board oversight. It's kind of like what they tried with Project Texas years ago, but this time it actually stuck.
So the JV deal basically provided the all-clear signal.
Exactly. It created regulatory stability. We now know, for the most part, that TikTok is here to stay in the U.S. market. The user base has stabilized at around 200 million Americans.
200 million?
That is a massive, permanent market.
200 million? That's the majority of the consumer base in the country.
Right. So now, if you're Beast Industries, the whole calculus changes. It goes from why waste money on a risky app to why aren't we dominating this stable media channel? The ice is finally thick enough to drive the truck out.
And when you say drive the truck out, we aren't just talking about video views.
No.
We're talking about the other side of the Beast business, the chocolate.
Feastables.
Oh,
This is where I want to push back a little on the numbers in our research because they seem, well, odd. We know Feastables is a juggernaut. It's in every Walmart, every 7-Eleven.
right. But the report says that on TikTok Shop specifically, they have only sold about 11,000 products to date.
It does sound low, doesn't it?
11,000? For a guy with 500 million fans. That sounds like a rounding error. Is that a failure of the platform, or is that just them dipping a toe in?
It is likely a soft launch or a test balloon. But I think you're hitting on the real reason for this head of TikTok hire. It's not just about vanity metrics.
It's about commerce.
It is about fixing that funnel.
Because the funnel on YouTube is terrible for selling chocolate bars.
It is so high friction. I mean, think about the user journey on YouTube. You're watching a 15-minute video on your TV or your laptop. Jimmy says, go buy Feastables. You have to pause, pick up your phone, go to a browser, type in a URL, put in your credit card.
You've lost 90% of them.
You've lost almost everyone in that process.
Whereas TikTok Shop is embedded.
It is frictionless. You see the video, you click the little orange basket icon, Apple Pay scans your face, and the chocolate is on its way. It is impulse buying weaponized.
So if the current sales are only 11,000 units, that represents a massive inefficiency. He has the eyeballs, but he hasn't connected the plumbing yet.
Correct. And that is why this role requires strategy and performance analysis, not just creativity. This person needs to figure out how to make content that doesn't just get 10 million likes, but gets 10,000 people to tap that orange basket. That is a completely different skill set than making a YouTube video about surviving in a bunker for 100 days.
It's conversion rate optimization disguised as entertainment.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
And looking at the landscape, the shop component is likely why TikTok is so vital to him now. YouTube AdSense pays well much better than TikTok's Creator Fund ever did, but the revenue per mil, the RPM on selling physical goods, is infinitely higher.
So let's go back to the candidate profile for this head of TikTok job. You need someone who understands the algorithm for views, understands the shop ecosystem for sales, and can manage a brand voice that is famously difficult to replicate. That feels like a unicorn hire.
It is. And they have to do it while navigating the fact that MrBeast is historically a long-form storyteller. I want to go back to your point about the unmistakably Beast requirement.
Please.
There's a real risk here. We have seen traditional media companies try to do TikTok, and it is. It's painful to watch.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's that how do you do, fellow kids? Energy. If Beast Industries tries to force their high-gloss TV-style production into a vertical feed, the audience might just reject it. TikTok users value authenticity, or at least the performance of authenticity, above almost everything else.
So if they come in with 8K cameras and perfect lighting, it might actually hurt performance.
It absolutely could. It signals this is an ad, and the nanosecond a user's brain registers this is an ad, they swipe.
Gone.
The challenge for this new head of TikTok is to lower the fidelity without lowering the brand value.
That's a tightrope. Lower the fidelity, keep the value.
Think about the top creators on TikTok right now. Cobby Lame. Simple, silent comedy. Charlie. Dancing in a bedroom. Even the newer stars in 2026 are mostly just personality-driven, holding a phone.
Right.
MrBeast is synonymous with money. His entire brand is, I spent $5 million on this video.
So how do you translate I spent $5 million into a format where people prefer I spent $0?
You have to pivot from production value to narrative value.
Okay.
You have to create moments that feel expensive in their stakes, but authentic in their delivery. Maybe instead of a highly produced game show, it's Jimmy walking up to a random person on the street and handing them the keys to a house, filmed on an iPhone.
Which he does, but usually it's surrounded by 20 different camera angles and drone shots.
Exactly. So strip away the drones, strip away the color grading, keep the generosity, keep the shock value, but present it through the lens of a bystander. That might be the strategy.
It's democratizing the spectacle.
And that is what this new hire has to figure out. They are essentially the architect of MrBeast 2.0.
Let's zoom out to the competitive aspect. You mentioned Cobby Lame is #1, Charlie is #2. Do you think Jimmy actually cares about the ranking? Or is this purely business? Because to me, it feels personal. He's the king. He doesn't want to be a prince in the neighboring kingdom.
I think it's both. You don't get to 465 million subscribers on YouTube without having a pathological need to be #1.
True.
But I also think he sees the writing on the wall regarding attention spans.
How so?
We are seeing a generation coming up now. Gen Alpha is fully in their teens in 2026 who view YouTube the way millennials viewed cable TV. It's long. It's slow. TikTok is their native language. If MrBeast wants to be relevant in 2030, he cannot just rely on 15-minute videos. He has to conquer the short-form feed.
So this is an existential hedge.
It is a defensive move as much as it is an offensive one. By hiring a head of TikTok and building a dedicated team, he is ensuring that Beast Industries doesn't age out with its audience. He's planting a flag where the next generation lives.
And doing it with the backing of that stable regulatory environment we talked about, it really is the perfect storm of timing. The platform is safe, the shop is open, and the ambition is there.
And the resources. Let's not forget that. He can outspend anyone. If this new head of TikTok says, we need to hire the top 50 editors on the platform to make this work, Jimmy can write that check today.
Yeah.
Cobby Lame is incredible, but he is an individual. MrBeast is a corporation.
That's a scary thought for every other creator on the app. The corporation is coming.
In a way, yes. We have seen this cycle before in every media format. Blogs gave way to publishers. YouTube vloggers gave way to production companies. Now, individual TikTokers are about to compete with industrial-grade short-form strategies.
So wrapping this up, we have a clear picture here. Beast Industries is hiring a general to wage a war on two fronts. The content front, to close that 35 million follower gap and take the #1 spot. And the commerce front, to turn views into chocolate sales via TikTok Shop.
Strategy, scale, sales. That is the triad.
And the person they hire has to solve the Beast paradox. How to be massive and intimate at the same time.
It will be the hardest job in social media marketing this year. No doubt about it.
I want to leave you with a final thought on this, something to chew on. We've talked a lot about the mechanics of this move, but there is a bigger cultural implication here.
What are you thinking?
If MrBeast pulls this off, if he hires this team, systematizes the viral moment, and uses brute force strategy to become #1 on TikTok, does that mark the official end of the Wild West era of short-form video?
That is a profound question.
Because if the king of YouTube can just come in and engineer his way to the top of TikTok using a corporate structure, are we done with the era of the kid in the bedroom? Are we entering the era where even the 15-second clip is dominated by studios?
If he succeeds, it proves that scale eventually wins everywhere.
Wow.
Even in the land of the authentic.
We'll be watching the leaderboard. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Always a pleasure.